Well, g'day there, folks. It is Laban Ditchburn, aka the world's best courage coach, and it's a big buenos dias from Mexico. So you'll have to forgive my relaxed, casual attire. It's hot here. It's 30 degrees centigrade every single day and about 90 degrees, 90% humidity, which I think is probably like 90 something Fahrenheit. Beautiful here. So you're lucky you got clothes on. And the reason I wanted to share what I'm going to share today with you, and I'm live streaming through StreamYard, and I'm on Instagram separately. So if I don't look down the Instagram lens in your eyes the whole time, you understand why, and vice versa for Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago now, when the lockdowns first kicked in globally, I was back in Australia with my now wife, and I just started my entrepreneurial journey. And I didn't really have any way of getting my message out into the world. I knew that I had these aspirations to be a transformational speaker and to share my message with the world. And normally the pathway for speaking is you've got to earn your credit through a number of unpaid gigs, and then you start getting paid and you start honing your craft and that type of thing. And I was fortunate enough to come across a guy by the name of Vinh. And Vinh is a second-generation Vietnamese guy born in Australia who is, in my humble opinion, easily one of the best speaker training coaches out there. And what I mean by speaker training, there's lots of people that are brilliant speaker trainers, but this guy is all about using your voice as an instrument. And why that's so significant, if you think about any story you've ever heard or any interaction with someone you've ever had, it's very hard, if it's been more than a few days even, to remember what they actually said. If they're just spouting off stats and numbers and binary information like that, it's easy to dissipate. But if you go back, you'll probably more than likely realise that it's storytelling. And Maya Angelou had a quote that I heard from Vinh, actually. He said, people don't remember what you say, what you do, they remember how you make them feel. And if you are anyone with a voice, if you are anyone who has a message to get out to the world, if you're anyone that enjoys being able to positively impact just the people in your social circle by your ability to effectively tell stories, anecdotes of your life, of other people's stories, in a way that you can viscerally see that they are enjoying being in your presence. It's nothing worse than sharing a story or telling someone something you can see their eyes glaze over. Well, this 5-day course that I did with this guy, Vinh, has evolved infinitely. And it was a live event when we did it back in 2020, but it's now evolved to an on-demand event. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. In my link tree, which is in the bio for my Instagram, up the very top, there's a link to Vinh speaker training course. And why I think this is so effective, I'm very, very fortunate to be in the presence of some amazing transformational speakers and to call some of the best speakers on the planet friends of mine. And it's all the same. It's all the same process. These people are masterful storytellers, and they make it look effortless. And that's why when you look at some of the best speakers on the planet, you look at them and they go, man, they've just been born with this amazing gift, right? Well, none of them have. There might be some natural affinity towards speaking and an interest towards it, but most of them have spent years and years, and thousands of hours dedicating to using their voice as an instrument. People don't remember what you say or what you do necessarily. They remember how you make them feel. Well, why is this significant? Where's your story, Late? Well, what happened off the back of that is I created a podcast series. And for those who haven't heard of it, it's called Become Your Own Superhero. It's available on YouTube and all the major podcasting platforms. And I created that. I just released my 150th episode. And I've been blessed to be able to interview some of the best speakers on the planet. Lots of really amazing authors, inspirational athletes. We've had scientists, Nobel Prize winners, high-powered politicians. I love to bring on really just diverse people that I think will add value to people's lives. And as a result of me understanding and learning from Vinh about using my voice as an instrument, that has infinitely impacted my ability to communicate and to become a masterful interviewer. And I'm not saying that because that's what I think. This has been the consistent feedback from more than 150 of these interviews. And I've probably got more than half of those have given me endorsements or video testimonials attesting to my ability to interview. And I'll share another secret with you. Steve Hardison, who's a wonderful friend and a powerful coach, says that the power is in the listener. The power is in the listener. And when you think about it, if you've ever seen Michael Parkinson, who had that show, he was a British guy, it was one of the most famous TV shows in the UK and certainly across the US as well. He interviewed several thousand of the most high-profile people on planet Earth, and he barely said anything. He just asked a few open questions here and there. And this is one of the unintended byproducts of this learning how to communicate, is that it's taught me how to listen. And when you understand that you can help people far more effectively by listening, if you're a coach, if someone's asking you for advice, and then combine it with the power of storytelling, with an anecdote of your own experience, how you overcame that adversity, or how someone else overcame it, and tell it in such a way that it really resonates with them and affects them at a deep DNA level. And that's when you start having actual transformation in people's lives. We all want more visibility. There's easier ways of just putting yourself out there and doing silly stuff on social media to get acknowledgement, but you're not entertaining. Sorry, you're not inspiring, you're entertaining. And you want to be inspiring, I believe. I think you want to be inspiring. You want to have people that are fans of yours. You don't want to be laughed at. You want to be laughed with. One of the other major shifts in my own journey over the last couple of years is I made a point to eliminate all negative self-talk from my vernacular. Why would you ever talk poorly of yourself when people understand the power of words? If we know how impactful we can be as speakers, why would you ever want to say anything poorly about yourself? And I'm even talking about sarcasm here, especially sarcasm. And what happens when you become conscious of how you're talking about yourself and you get into that habit, you'll start noticing how other people around you are talking. And you can then make decisions on who you allow in your life off the back of that. And for me, it's been a game changer because it's really important. Jim Rohn talks about us becoming the sum of the 5 people we spend the most time around. And so I choose to spend the majority of my time, if possible, around people that will lift me up. And it just so happens that a lot of them are masterful communicators. They're really good at setting boundaries. They understand the power of their language, the power of their words. And so if any of this is resonating with you in any way, and if it's not, that's okay. But if it is, and you feel like you've got a message out there, or you've thought about creating a podcast, you've thought about writing a book, I would encourage you to learn from who I think is the best on how to become what he calls consciously incompetent. And what he means by that is when you do Vin's speaker training, which is about a 7-hour commitment now, it's all on demand, and you can plow through it, I think, as fast as you need to or as slowly as you need to. When you become consciously incompetent, you'll start acknowledging, you're right, okay, I understand now. And you'll look back at the way you were communicating previously, and it'll allow you to remove a lot of the things that are making you a less effective speaker. And that's all it is, really. All you want to do is clear away the things that are distracting the audience. And I will never purport to be the best speaker on the planet, not until I've been acknowledged with that accolade. I'll leave that for other people for the meantime. It's not something that I'm so super driven to perfect. But what I would say is if you saw me do a live 2.5 years ago, it'd be a completely different outcome. And I don't have any footage here to show you, but trust me, I kept a lot of footage from a lot of the videos I used to create, and it's painful to go back. It should be painful. It should be very painful if you are working on yourself and making a committed effort to becoming a masterful communicator and using that voice as an instrument. So my encouragement to you today is to explore Vinh Giang's speaker training course. It's available on demand on the link tree in the bio on Instagram, and it should be in the bio of all the other platforms here. And I'll post it on LinkedIn afterwards. There's the link to his course. And I'm an affiliate for it. There's not many things that I affiliate. I really, truly believe that this is easily one of the best courses out there for beginners, for people that are experienced. Like Vin's background was as a magician, and he was a technically brilliant magician, but he wasn't affecting the audience like he hoped. And it wasn't until he did the work and he realized that what he was doing on stage in terms of his communication and using that voice as an instrument was really holding him back. And as soon as he tweaked that, he became fantastic and has won multiple awards for the best show at the Adelaide Fringe Festival in Australia, which is one of the premier events in the world. And he's got a ton of free content on his YouTube channel. He's got a huge social media following that's just exploded in the last couple of years because of just how much value he puts out. He's just an amazing heart-centered guy. He was a guest on my podcast a year and a half ago, one of my first ever guests. And I'm so grateful to you, Vin, if you're watching this, for the work that you're doing in the world and giving people a voice. What's happening in the world right now, it's very hard to know what is the truth. I'm sure a lot of you would agree. Whatever side of any affinity you're on, right? It's impossible to know with certainty what is in fact the truth. And my message to the world is, well, where does it all change? Where does it all start? And I would propose to you that you start with your truth. You become a masterful communicator. Speak your truth. Get your message out into the world. Your unique vibrational frequency resonates with other people at a similar vibrational frequency. What better way to do it than becoming a masterful communicator, becoming consciously incompetent and then consciously competent and then masterful? If you have any questions, reach out whatever way you need to. I'm not too hard to find. And if this resonates with you, do something about it. AI is going to outsource a lot of jobs. I don't think that's any secret. But the people in the know, the people I'm talking to, are saying that it's soft skills that will not be outsourced, not in our lifetime. Being able to communicate effectively. Maybe we could talk about this another time, but there's plenty of stories in my life where, since I've been able to get a lot better at communicating, I've been able to affect amazing, miraculous outcomes in my own life. And there's a funny story about a vacuum cleaner that maybe I'll tell you one day. If you haven't read my book, Bet On You, my journey of conquering demon drink and drugs and gambling and philandering and limiting beliefs and negative self-talk, I wrote that without any assistance. I didn't need a ghostwriter or anything like that. And I didn't have any qualifications. I never finished high school, in fact. And I've had lots of really wonderful feedback on the storytelling. And I drew a lot of those skills from the speaker training that I learned from Vin and the work that I've done since then to make it a book that people will remember. And this all ties back into becoming consciously incompetent. You don't know what you don't know yet. Do the course. Report back. I'd love to hear your thoughts, hopes and dreams. Have a great day if you're not having one. And if you are, well, keep up the good work, would you?